19K Fox. Yes, this is the first cell phone live stream I think I've probably ever done. It's a little uncomfortable. It's okay. It's fine. And there's nothing going on tonight that would have prompted this impromptu live stream. Absolutely nothing else. There's no bandwagon that I would be jumping on tonight. I wanted to talk to everybody. I haven't been at home all week. It's the first time in a long time I've been actually traveling all week, so it's kind of weird. So Thursday night, I'm gonna be headed back in the morning. I'm in Johnson City, Tennessee, so I'm a good 5.5, 6 hours from home. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. So tonight I wanted to spend a little time just saying hi to everybody, talking to you, having a beer, and talking about my arcade gaming experience on the go. And that is, of course, going to be sort of monopolized by the Atari My Arcade Gamestation Go. So I say this little thing, but check it out. I say this little thing, but this is a big deal. This is a big handheld for sure. You've seen other comparisons from other channels. This is roughly the size of a Switch, Nintendo Switch. A little bit bigger, actually. The screen size itself, we're going to fire this thing up in just a second, is not as big as the bezel would sort of imply. So there's a little bit of false advertising, a little bit, but it's not really the end of the world. It's a pretty good size. It's definitely a 16:9 aspect ratio, 7-inch monitor. The controls are pretty cool, guys. The controls are not bad. They're not bad. I'm trying to pull up the live stream over here so I can look at your comments, because looking at the phone in this orientation, it's a little bit limiting, but I want to make sure I try to say hi to everybody in the chat, guys. It's not pulling up, but it's fine. It's fine. I want to say hi to Novasonic. We got J Rod in the house. We got user random 1. How did no one else think about that? A2D2, a pleasure to see you as always. Looking great as always. Saw you on Instagram earlier. Good to see you. Your beautiful smiling face. It's always awesome to see that positivity out there for sure. We got KOZ, the KOZ, I do apologize. Galaga Guy 88. Hey Fox is live too. Weird how these things sort of happen. A coinciding of live streams, sort of a crossing of the streams, I think is what we do here every once in a while. When I get the itch, when I feel something in the air, other people are streaming, I'm like, you know what? I should stream as well. This is the super mobile setup, guys, so let me know if the audio is weird. Let me know if the video is okay. I do have a little light off to the side, a little tripod kicking. I'm trying to do the best that I can, guys. But yeah, so I wanted to give you some thoughts about this. I did a YouTube short about this. My Arcade did send this to me for the purposes of the review, and a lot of videos came out. Gen X Grown Up has done just a phenomenal job. Little Alien, what's going on? Great to see you. Hey, Ted, Adam Green, the man. Thank you so much for being here. The Nerd Jock as well. Okay, good. A2D2 keeping me on track. I do appreciate it. I was trying to use an external mic, but maybe the iPhone is not doesn't really necessitate that. Going back into this thing. Okay, so this is a real handheld device. I took it on road with me all week. I've been playing a bunch of obviously Atari games, but there is a little bit of a secret that My Arcade maybe isn't broadcasting. They don't want to tell everybody, and it is that little slot right there. So we can go over some of the inputs right now. Talking about the volume rocker back and forth, obviously the headphone jack, a full-size HDMI, which is nothing, that's no slouch. A full-size HDMI is not something you get on some smaller handhelds for sure. Usually it's like an HDMI mini to full-size HDMI, but this is a full-size HDMI cable. It's pretty cool. USB Type-C for charging on top here. And then you have this little mystery port. We'll talk about it in just a second. You have your home button, which takes you back to, obviously, the home screen. And then your power slider. So right now and this is a good thing. It's not just a push button. It's an actual slider. So we're off right now. We'll turn that on in just a second. On the back side, you have 2 more USB Type-C ports. This is going to be for controller 1 and 2. They've just dropped the pre-orders for the controllers. Yes, G.I. Joel X84. Yes, USB Type-C is your preferred power connection. So that's really awesome. No kind of weird proprietary connector at all. But the controllers themselves have dropped on Amazon for pre-order. They're not quite out yet. Is that something you need? Well, I've done some initial testing with just generic USB Type-C controllers, and specifically the one that from Unico, the one for their little mini system, and the analog stick, or the, I guess it's the D-pad. It's not really analog. The D-pad works great, up, down, left, right, all that works fine. But only the one of the buttons is mapped correctly, and that's where they're going to get you. That's where they're going to get you. The mapping of the buttons is always going to be something you're going to kind of just have to deal with, right? Unless you go with something proprietary from my arcade. So that's going to be the best way to go. We talked about these ports, but this little port right here, that is a micro USB card slot. And you would say, well, maybe that's for hacking. You know, you're going to hack the system. You're going to hack the mainframe, whatever the hell that means. No, there's no hacking involved. There's no custom firmware involved at all whatsoever. And that's the thing that kind of blows my mind about this. So what am I talking about? This system basically runs a form of MAME. Now, I think Gen X Grown Up has maybe covered the type of MAME that this, but basically for the MAME is the arcade emulator that's been out there for probably decades at this point, constantly being revised. This is running MAME basically, and that's how it runs all the old arcade games and all that stuff, console games and everything. So what happens is when you put just, all I had to do, seriously, I have a bunch of ROMs on my computer. I'm sure many of you do also. Put those on the memory card and simply put the memory card in. That's it. You don't have to hack anything. There's no custom firmware. There's no nothing. You just simply put it in, and I'll show you what happens. Let's go ahead and turn this on right now and check it out, guys. You can see yourself. Look. This is me watching you. Look at the reflection. And there's my studio light right there. Look. It does take a little bit to load. This is whether you have a memory card, an SD card in here or not. You're going to have a little bit of a load time here. There we go. A little splash screen. You see everything's illuminated. All the controls are illuminated. Which is kind of I know it's a gimmick, but it's kind of cool. And it switches, D-pad. So right off the bat, if you've got a memory card in here, you're going to be prompted either to load from the local storage, which is right there, or from the SD card. You've seen what's on the local storage. Now let's take a look at what's on the memory card. So all you have to do, now once again, no weird crazy formats or anything. The files are still zipped, and I put them on the memory card. So check this out. Hey, Keg! Great to see you, buddy. So check this out. Switch on over to the SD card. Hit the A button, all right, which is one of the illuminated buttons. Check it out. And it automatically takes you into this file system. Now, the file system is not crispy or clean. It's not polished anyway, which is fine. But it shows right off the bat the folders that I have created within my SD card. So basically, I took an SD card, and I created a folder inside that SD card called Games. That's it, just Games. And within that folder, I created more folders. So I created a CPS1 folder. Let me see if I can get you if you can see that. There you go. A CPS1 folder, a CPS2 folder, and then the V arcade. Now, like I said, you guys at home, you probably got a ton of ROMs on your hard drive, on your laptop, on your PC somewhere. And you can absolutely just dump those on a memory card and throw it in here, and away you go. But the issue is going to be compatibility. So I have been going through some of this stuff painstakingly. So you know I'm a big Capcom fan. I got a bunch of CPS1, CPS2, CPS3. Those are the arcade standards from back in the day from Capcom. And I've been struggling with what exactly is going to work. Gamer Fridge, brother. Zod Rider. How the hell are you? Great to see you, as always, buddy. Stitches by Steve. Are you a surgeon? Anyway, so like I said, all I did was I created a folder called Games, put it on the SD card, the micro SD card, and then I created these folders inside. Now, if you go to, like I said, I've been just going through compatibility. It's one of those things you gotta just figure it out. I mean, you never know, like what's gonna work. Surprisingly, and you hear that little chime when you push the A button. It brings me to all these folders. Now, I have gone through some of the folders. If they don't work, they stay. So what you have to do is you have to go through with a, old school, and you break out the paper and the pen, and you write down the ROMs that didn't work, and you go back, put that on your laptop or your computer, and you get rid of those. Here is my games list. So this is a CPS1 games list. Some freaking classics in here, guys. I mean, some really good stuff. So check this out. So I have 3 Wonders, not big over here in the States. CA Wing, I don't know. I don't know what that. Here's the big one. So the third ROM on this is Cadillacs and Dinosaurs, legit. It's the arcade version playing on this beautiful handheld. Now I'm going to go through some of the list, and then we're going to go back to Cadillacs and Dinosaurs because I know that's the one you want to see because it's so awesome. Final Fight is also on here. Ghouls and Ghosts is on here. Knights of the Round. Bomber. The thing is, you can't rename these. I tried doing that. I tried going through and renaming the zip files to games. It's easy to sort of see what it is, and it doesn't work out so well. M-Bomber. I can't remember what M-Bomber is. M-Sword, M-Twin. Some of these are going to be just Japanese games that didn't have a big release here in the U.S., so some of them are just not, you're not going to recognize some of them. Nemo. I don't remember what the... P-Nick J, which I call P-Nick Jr. It's a weird kind of game. Definitely from the other side of the world. What's not from the other side of the world is Punisher. That's right, baby. Ha ha! Punisher is playing on this, so that's another great game. Street Fighter 2, the original World Warrior, is on here. Saturday Night Slam Masters is on this bad boy. And then we have Strider, and then we have UN Squad, and then Captain Commando. That's right. That's right. So let's go up. Let's just try real quick. Let me go ahead and launch Cadillacs and Dinosaurs because that is just, I just love that one. I love that game. So let's go ahead. I'm just going to show you real quick what this looks like. You're going to see a little bit of a delay. I just hit the A button. Give it a second to kind of launch. You can see, ooh, look, you see yourself. And look at that. Look at that. Oh my God. Yes. And then everything, turn up the volume, and everything is mapped correctly. So you have your credit and start, okay? So just hit the credit button here. Okay, there we go. Once again, I did no custom mapping to any of these games. And then you hit start button. And right off the bat, launches the game. Pick whoever you want. Of course, I'm going to pick, Hannah, because she's skilled. Sure. Let me see if I can turn up the volume. Crank up the volume, and you see this is the ROM. This is the arcade ROM, nothing from the 16-bit era. You see the backgrounds, looks really awesome. See if I can play this in reverse. Oh, I'm a machine. Yes, there we go. Come on. This is weird. It's kind of weird. Okay. I mean, the sound is great. Once you figure out the buttons, it's pretty simple. Up, down, left, right, all that's good. Can I go? Up. Oh, too late. And you see, this is just, I mean, this is awesome. This is one of the old ROMs I've had forever, kicking around. I'm sure I obtained these ROMs legally. Of course I did. Sure. And then, so here's a cool thing. So once you get, let's say you're kind of done with this, you can hit the settings button. Check this out. Hit the settings button. This brings up a menu, another menu that will have saves and loads and all that for certain games that support that. This does not have that. Controls show up first. Now this is unfortunately, it's not going to show you your controls as far as the mapping, and that's kind of disappointing. I wish that was the case. But you can go down to your display. And you can change like the screen brightness and all that. But then you really just want to go to quit. Go to quit. Hit the A button right here. Boom. And then yes. Oh, wait. Yes, I'm sure. Am I sure? I'm sure. And then it takes you right back to your main menu. And you can load the next game. And like I said, I've not experienced any kind of slowing down or anything. Let's try Final Fight next. Let's just to kind of give you... Here we go. There There we go. Turn your phone sideways. I don't know that I can. I think it's only gonna record in this way, perhaps. There you go. Da, 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 da. Final fight. Loads up flawlessly. Once again, we're going to add some credits. I'm going to go ahead and hit the start button, player 1 button. We're going to pick Cody. Let's pick Cody. I mean, it plays great, it plays smooth. Now, CPS 1 is not that demanding, right? But still, very cool. Let me see if I can play this again in the reverse mode. Nice. I mean, just no slowdown. It's just sick. And the screen looks good, guys. I'm sure it's probably washed out a little bit because I have this studio light going on here. But this is just a ton of fun, man. And you can imagine with this big screen, it looks incredible. So once again, we get tired of this. Let's go to settings. Let's go down to quit. Hit quit. Boom. And we're sure, and we are done. And so that's CPS 1. You can see that runs pretty good. What else do you want to see? I'm thinking maybe, just maybe, you probably want to see viewing angle is good. It's pretty good. So when you look at it dead on, Jason, it looks great. So you can see, let me try to mimic this. So that's dead on. Once you get sideways, you really got to go pretty dramatic before it kind of blurs or gets any kind of a weird kind of backlight issue. And it's hard to sort of see that. Well, I got to go back. Let me kill that. It's hard to kind of pick that up on the camera. I got to reload this again because I accidentally hit the home button. The home button will take you right back to the home screen. So we'll demonstrate that in just a second. But once again, the power cycle, all the illuminating sort of glowing features come on. And I know it is a little bit of a gimmick, and that's fine. That's fine. But it's kind of cool. You're not confused by the controls you're trying to use, which you'd be forgiven if you were, because you got the trackball here, you got the spinner up here, and the D-pad. Okay, let's go back into the micro SD card menu. Let's go back into CPS 1, and I'm assuming, I don't know, but I think that maybe, just maybe, you want to see some Captain Commando. You know what? Before we do that, let's go to Street Fighter 2. And the reason why I want to show Street Fighter 2 is not because it's the most taxing on your system, obviously, but I want to show you the button layout, because while this is emulating these games, awesome, like super smooth, arcade, these are legit MAME arcade ROMs. I'm going to go ahead and add some credits here. That's right. You hear it? That's right. The button layout, like I said before, you can't really map your buttons. So you're kind of stuck with the default setting. So let's go ahead and hit the start button here. And I'll show you what's going on. So, Ryu, obviously. Fine. Okay. When it comes to heavy punches and heavy kicks, so you're going to have, obviously, your kicks are going to be here. Now, if you want a heavy kick, you got to go up here. You got to go up top to R1 and L1. So there we go. I think that's L1. L1's going to be your heavy punch, and then R1's going to be your heavy kick. So that's not terrible, but on some of the CPS2 games, I found that this was all wonky. It didn't make any sense. But on this version of the game, it makes a ton of sense. Novasonic, don't forget AVP. Well, we're going to get to that, of course. So once again, the buttons here make sense. If you want heavy kick, heavy punch, you're stuck to kind of going up here with these. Now, sometimes I'll change that layout, and I'll move those heavy kicks and heavy punches down here because I'm going to use those more often. But you can't really do that because, like I said, once you hit the settings, you go into the controls, there's no way to remap this stuff, guys. And unfortunately, that's just sort of the way that it is. But what can you do? What can you do? Let's see if my live stream is even going. I can see you. I want to see if I can see it over here on my iPad. Let's see. Come on. Come on. Come on. It's not showing up, guys. What the crap? Well, anyway. So you can't really map the buttons, which is something I really wanted to do. Moat, what's going on, buddy? Good to see you. I came for the social experiment currently going on. What do you mean? I have no idea what you're referring to. So that's the only downside of some of these games. You're going to find that the 6-button fighters are going to be a challenge for most of you if you have a certain button that you want to use. You can't remap them. So that's the one downside. Once again, this was 100% free. No, I mean, I had the ROMs on my PC, put them on an SD card, and put them in here. I got a 32 gigabyte SD card. That's it. So once again, let's going to go ahead and go down to quit. Yes. Okay, and let's do something I'm really fond of. I do like some Captain Commando. Check it out. You can see the load time. Takes a few seconds, and then loads the ROM exactly like you would imagine if you are using MAME or any other kind of emulation software, or if you bought this ROM legit. Now, most of you are not going to have a CPS 1 or CPS 1.5 board because those are so damn expensive. So it's nice to have this as an option. Captain Commando. Let's go ahead and hit the coin button, the credit button, right up here. And then we're going to hit the start button. Let's go. Now this is something that's kind of weird. So during the select screen, I couldn't select my character. But you'll see you can move the character around. So I don't know what's going on there. It's kind of weird. So I'm kind of stuck with this guy. I wanted Captain Commando, but whatever. There we go. Better shot at the screen. There we go. Beautiful. And so it plays great. Other than the select screen, everything else looks good. Everything plays exactly like you would think. Let's go ahead and hit the settings button. Let's quit. Now, but that's CPS 1, which is challenging, but it's smooth. Hello, the console kits. Just doing an impromptu live stream, unmotivated by any other circumstances whatsoever. So CPS 1 runs really good. I have a complete library of the best CPS 1 games out there. Rocking on this thing. Zero modifications whatsoever. There's no hacking. There's no custom firmware. There's absolutely nothing. You just put it on an SD card, and then away you go. You're done. You're really that done. As long as it's compatible with the main version that's running on this system, you're fine. So I got a really good collection of CPS 1. I like it. So B is always going to be your back button. So let's hit B, and we'll go back to this main menu here. And you're going to find CPS 2 is the next folder I have inside my games folder. Let's go ahead and click on that. And you're going to find unfortunately, a very short list. I'm going through all my CPS 2 games right now. The ROMs, a lot of them are not going to be compatible. But the ones that are compatible run very, very well. So let's go ahead and check this out. I'm going to start with Street Fighter Alpha, and then we'll go to this other game you may have heard of. One of my personal favorites, maybe the personal favorite, Alien vs. Predator. Yes, it's on here. We'll get to that in a second. Let's go ahead and get to Street Fighter Alpha. And you're going to see one of the problems you're going to find once you get into this game. Not the fact that it runs, because it's going to run great. You'll see. There we go. Hit the credits. And I love the Alpha series. I love the sprites. Yeah. So we're going to pick Ryu. Turbo on. Okay. Now, the mapping of the controls. That's the only downside of this. I'm trying to remember. I think it's actually... Yeah, I think this is going to be... See, it's not heavy punch. I think it's light punch or medium punch. Let me see. Oh, and then there you go. Now you prompt a different configuration screen if you hit B. No, I'm sorry, L1. And then, see, now I'm stuck trying to get out of it. So that sucks. So let's go to, okay, return to main menu, return to game. Okay. So you got to be really careful with the buttons that you push. So that's the only downside, guys. Is going to be some of the mapping of some of the games, because it's just going to be a MAME ROM running on MAME. And then I think this is, yeah, so there's your punch. Yeah, there you go. So once you figure it out, it's probably going to be okay. If you like, handheld gaming. Charlie's kicking my ass. Damn it. But some of it doesn't make a ton of sense. So it switches up on this one. Oh, come on. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. The weak and medium versions of your punch and kick, they're all over the place. It's not the same as Street Fighter 2 from out of the ROM. One of those things you're going to have to just sort of deal with. You're going to try this. But is it worth it? Is it worth having something that requires no custom firmware, no super specific ROM to try to run? Especially if you've got just a bunch of ROMs sitting on your, no Jeffersons. Sorry, tonight, no. Just have beer. I'm in a hotel and I got to drive home tomorrow. So here's what it is. But yeah, for not having to have any custom firmware or specific ROM or putting things in a specific folder, I was surprised that I was able to just create a games folder on my micro SD card, and then inside that folder just take different folders, because I wanted to kind of separate things, and just dump a bunch of ROMs in there. And it was just that easy. But let's look at my pride and joy. Come on, let's look at it. Let's go ahead and check out a little game called AVSP. You might know this one. You might know it. Look, there you are. Look. And there's my light, and there's my phone, there's my iPad. There you are. Now this plays really good, guys. Check this out. Loads up pretty quick, and then hit the start button. We'll go with that Predator. Why not? And this is awesome. I mean, if you're a fan of the beat 'em up genre, this thing is incredible. I mean, it really is. I mean, it takes no effort to set up. If you've got some ROMs kicking around somewhere, it takes no effort whatsoever. Oh, let's get that. Oh. There we go. Yes, and you can even play it backwards. You can play it backwards looking at a screen. Look at that. So it looks great. It takes up the majority of the screen. It is 16 by 9, so it's not going to take up the whole screen. But it's been a blast, guys. It's been really fun to play around with, for sure. Now, let's say you're in this mode and you want to, you've had enough of this. Maybe you got some weird ROMs. You're not having a good time. You want to jump back to the main menu. The home button. We talked about it. There you go. Home button, and then the power slider. If you just, from this menu, hit the home button. Boom. Takes you right back to the main menu. The stock UI is here, and then it doesn't affect anything. It's not like it bogs down or anything. You can still swipe through all the different menus. You can jump into another game, and everything's fine. Now, if you want to go back to the SD card, you have to power cycle. I tried going to settings and seeing, well, maybe if you go to the settings, well, maybe I can just jump over to the SD card. No, unfortunately not. You're going to have to power cycle if you want to jump back into your games on your SD card. But that's it, guys. It's kind of nuts. I'm still playing around with it. I'm still doing some testing. I want to do an official video soon. But it's just been a blast to play. I mean, when you hold it, you got the kickstand, but I don't really need the kickstand because I don't have any controllers or anything like that. But for someone who's not I've had a love-hate relationship with custom firmware and all that. Now, like with my PSPs, I've had no issues. I can load. I've backed up all my PSP ROMs or all my PSP games, and made files, and I have an SD card full of those games, and everything's fine. But it's hit or miss. You know, I've had some bad instances with some kind of games that just don't make sense. Don't make sense. The Gook Man returns. What's going on, buddy? Good to see you, man. I haven't seen you in a very long time. I'm glad you're here. But yeah, so for just the ease of use, like if you've got a bunch of games kicking around, throw them on a memory card, an SD card, throw them in the device, and then see if they're compatible. And if they're not compatible, they just won't load. That's it. It won't break your system. It won't destroy anything. It won't set your house on fire. I'm pretty sure it won't set your house on fire. I mean, I'm most likely. But no, it's a pretty slick little unit, guys. It's simple. Now, is it going to be worth $180, which is what they're asking? $179 for this thing. If you don't have any, let's say you don't have any ROMs, and you're just going to play this legit. The Atari Recharge games are really fun. But let's take a look at the Atari menu itself. And this is something I want to kind of go over. Like I said, I'll do a proper video later. But for those of you that are tuning in to this live stream, you're getting something extra. You're getting something special. So the Recharge games are very polished, but there's only 5 of them. The bang for your buck is going to be your Atari games. So when you go into this menu, hit A. Take a look at this menu. So you're going to have staff picks. You're going to have Atari 2600, 5200, 7800, and Atari Arcade. Let's just look at that for now. So check it out. Let's say you want to check out some of the arcade games. Now you're over here. Now you just start going through the different menus. Or the different game menus. How does that feel to you? Tell me how you're feeling right now. Tell me what's on your mind. Because to me, this sort of feels like it feels like a MAME machine. It feels like something that's got a sort of a cheap front end, you know, and you do this all the time in emulation, whether it's arcade games or whatever. If you've got a PC, or whether it's a micro PC, or whether you just have this on your desktop and you're running old games from back in the day, this is sort of the setup you would have. You would have some kind of a front end, and you would have a image of the arcade cabinet from back in the day, or the game console, and you would have some cheap little video off to the side showing you kind of what the game looks like. And it just, to me, doesn't feel quite as polished as when you go back to the home screen and you're here. And this feels more custom. You're switching back and forth, Balls of Steel, Pac-Man, you know, going through all this stuff, settings menu. It's not super quick and zippy. Oh, here comes there's the music. Check it out. Much more polished experience. And the music sounds nice. It's when you go into those menus where it sort of cheapens the overall experience. And it feels like MAME. It feels like just MAME. It feels like kind of an emulator. And you go in here. Okay, let's go back to Atari Arcade. So let's pick something out. Check it out. You're gonna scroll through. There we go. Well, that's true. Yeah, I mean, we got to talk about the tariffs. Thank you, Messiah, for your $2 super chat, brother. I appreciate you. So you find something, whatever it is. Let's go. Let's go all the way down to Crystal Castle, which plays pretty good on this. And you'll see. We'll go ahead and click on that. It's gonna load Crystal Castles here in a second. About as quick as it loaded the MAME files on my SD card. There we go. Loads the level. Add your credits, because this is an arcade machine, or an arcade ROM. And then start. Oh, there we go. Okay. And I will say the trackball is really responsive. I can't see what's going on. I can't see what's going on. The trackball is pretty responsive, but I wish it had a little more resistance. It feels a little bit loose. I don't know if you can hear that. Just a little bit loose, a little too spinny, right? And you can see my guy just flying all over the place. He's gone. He's off the map. It's crazy. So that's a little bit spinny. Whereas you have your spinner up here, or loose, right? But you have your spinner up here, it's a little bit tighter. And it feels better. So I wish it had a little bit more resistance there. But that's, yeah, it is what it is. Now, when you exit out of, let's go to settings. Yeah, settings. And when you go to settings on a game that's pre-installed on the machine, you can see that there is a difference, right? Our arcade ROMs that we had on our SD card didn't have any of these options. Here you can absolutely change up your control, you know, your buttons, your layout, all that stuff. You can absolutely change that up on these. So that's pretty cool. But then you scroll down, same old stuff right now. You can come up, I think you can't really save load on this one, I guess. There's your controls. And then your display settings, and then back to the game. If you wanted to jump back into the game, you could do that. Or you can go ahead and quit. There you go. Back to this sort of weird front end. So, some disappointment on the front end when it comes to the games that are included in this system. It's fine. It's serviceable, but you kind of wish you had more of the polish when you go back to your main menu. And the main menu's kind of got the ominous music, and it's got the swooping left and right sounds. Right? Got the music going. Enter into the game. And it's a little bit more polished. Check out some Pac-Man. And you can see that you have another sub-menu. Once again, fairly polished. Not quite as janky as what you find in the Atari games, with that sort of, you know, kind of an old school MAME front end. But still, right? I mean, not bad for what you're getting. $180. Is it worth your hard-earned $180? Not sure. If you click on this, let's pick a game. So we got classic. So for Pac-Man, we got classic mode, speed up mode, the Atari 2600 version, of course. Why wouldn't we? And then classic mode. So there's only 3 versions of Pac-Man, which, why in the hell would you need more than that? But there you go. Let's go ahead and hit the B button to back out of that. Takes you back to your main menu. And let's go to, you got Jellicoe, you got Pico. Jellicoe doesn't have a ton. Let's go and check it out real quick. Jason, $5 super chat, brother. I do appreciate you. Thank you so much for continuing to support the channel, as always. Now you can see less games here for sure. It's Jellicoe after all. So you got 8-bit, 16-bit, and then arcade. Arcade, actually not bad as far as the arcade games go. You can see. Once again, you kind of got a generic version of the cabinet, which is not bad. And then the little video playing. But very much like the early days of MAME front ends. Oh, what happened there? Favorite games? There we go. Oh, yeah, I backed out. There we go. Okay. Get back to the list, and you're going to see that some of these, see if I can find it. Yeah, here we go. This is kind of sad. No image available for this game. Now listen, come on. If there's no image available, couldn't you just pick something? Couldn't you find some kind of image to put in there? No image available. It feels like a free MAME front end. That's what it feels like from about 2004. What it feels like. But like I said, other than the user interface needing a little bit of polish, I think that the experience overall, the games play well. So that's the main thing. That's the main thing. Pico has some offerings. Let's go ahead and show you what Pico's got going on here. Go to the arcade. You can see there's a very limited selection of Pico arcade games. But what can you do? So yeah, so this, these sub menus can feel sort of less polished. Could use definitely a bit more something special to really kind of make this more of a smooth, seamless. Because like I said, you go from this to that is a little weird. Bozo Calvin, what's going on, buddy? Hey, nice 19K Fox. Just bought the new My Arcade Sonic Mini. Okay, awesome. It came with the keychain Tetris. Very nice. No, Zod, the screen looks pretty good. I know my phone may not be able to capture it well, but it looks good. It's not quite like top tier. It may not be IPS, but the backlight is even, so it looks pretty good. Not bad. Damien says he loves the Steam Deck and ROG, but you could buy them or this. I don't know. I think your device is much more capable than this. But for this price, I'm hoping that maybe you're going to see this on sale soon. Maybe $150 you can find it locally. It just depends on the way that this thing sells. And I got to tell you, I think it's going to be it's going to come down to the Atari look, right? Because a lot of these handhelds, it's about displaying the item and having the item and the way that it looks. And the Atari color scheme is pretty sick. And the way that the glow technology, the way the little LED ring will light up based on what control that you're using. It's a gimmick, sure, but it's kind of a cool gimmick that I think will make sense. 4 or 5 star hotel in the background? No. I'm at a Holiday Inn, my friend. Holiday Inn. Not an Express, but a Holiday Inn. So what can you do? How is the spinner for Tempest? It's not free spinning from what I understand, so that is problematic. I have an Atari 12-in-1 cab from Arcade 1-Up with Glenn's spinner and trackball, and that's fantastic. So no, the spinner is not free spinning. It's got resistance. I don't know if you can kind of see that. Just as soon as you let go, you try to take a spin, and it does not. It stops pretty quickly. The trackball, surprisingly, has very little resistance. I mean, it's just... I feel like it just spins. It just spins and spins. But no, the spinner itself does not spin. It's got some resistance for sure. It feels like the volume knob on a stereo. You know. LOL half star. I don't know. Maybe a 1 star. I don't know. I haven't found any dead bodies, so maybe a 1 star. But it's Tennessee. You know, it's like when you see a girl. And sometimes, you know, you see her and she's like some guys will say she's a 10, you know, and then you're like, well, she's like a Mississippi 10, you know, but she's not a 10, you know, and she's an Arkansas 10, but she's not a 10, you know. This may be a Tennessee 1. Tennessee 1, but a New York half. I don't know. I may be insulting the state. And yeah, no bed bugs. So, no, Holiday Inn is fine. It's fine, but I wouldn't consider it a starred experience. It's fine. So, yeah, so guys, for $179, you got a machine that comes packed with some good arcade games. Atari, you know, Angelico, Pico. The Balls of Steel. Let's go ahead and look at that real quick. Some of the things that I'm kind of disappointed about. When you go into the Balls of Steel, you pick a pinball game. And you would think 16 by 9, okay, well, I can just take it and turn it this way, right? No, you can't. You can't, and the way it's just, it's fine, you know? And you can use the buttons up here. And that's really pretty much it. But as far as like taking it this way, this would be nice. Now I thought about, okay, well I can just go into the settings menu and I can rotate the display. Hit settings, hit settings, hit settings. What's going on? I'm in this and I'm hitting settings. And in every other game, whether I'm just doing generic MAME ROMs or whatever, if I hit settings, it goes into a settings menu. You don't have that with the Balls of Steel. You're kind of just stuck. There's no menu at all. So what you got to do is you got to just, well, the game, you can pause the game there. But that's it. What the hell? And then the game is paused. And it's stuck. What? Here we go. Yeah, so there's no settings doesn't do anything. So you can't rotate the display. So you're kind of stuck in this orientation. Which means, okay, well, here we go. I got to launch the ball. And I'm stuck with this. And so you got to, kind of like the old NES from back in the day, that first pinball game that we ever played, that first digital pinball game we ever played. NES pinball. So that's okay, but I don't know. I wish that we could have had the option to rotate the screen and then just play like this. And then maybe you play with, and I don't know what you would do, but you could change that down here. And you could maybe have some flippers down here. But that was kind of a disappointment. And there's no setting to do that. So if you want to get out of here, got to hit the home menu. And there you go. So yeah. So it's a mixed bag. It's not a perfect machine. I think if it was $100, I would buy it all day long and twice on Sunday. But for $180, it gives me a little bit of pause because of it's almost $200. And once you start looking at $200, you got to maybe consider other options as far as just general gameplay. The biggest competitor to this is going to be like the Anbernic devices, which are coming in all different types of form factors. You got the sliders, you got the ones that are just more vertical. You got the 4:3 aspect ratio. They're mimicking all the greatest handhelds from back in the day, like the Game Boy SP, the Game Boy Advance, all of that. Mike Hawkhurst is into the chat. What's going on, brother? Great to see you as always. So yeah, $179. You're up in the area of some Anbernic devices that are going to emulate different games. They're going to come packed with a bunch of games. So maybe if you don't have a bunch of ROMs on your laptop at home, it's not going to be an option for you to just put them on here, And you're going to look for a different sort of all-in-one solution, perhaps. Novasonic says probably would have been 100 to 130 pre-2020. If this came out in 2020, it might have been that much, but I think it probably would have been roughly the same price, 150 at least, because there's a lot going on here for sure. And then back in 2020, with the 16:9 display at 7 inches, I get what you're saying, and you're probably right at 150, but I still think this would probably be a premium product back then. 2025, with all the different, I say Anbernic devices because they're out there, they're all over Amazon, it makes sense. That is definitely something that, you kind of sort of have to consider. If you're talking about spending north of $100, you have to consider all your different options. This is officially licensed by Atari. This has the Atari look. It feels pretty good in the hand. This is probably one of the most comfortable gaming experiences I've had. Similar to the Switch, except the Switch tends to be a little bit flatter. This, you can see that definitely juts out a lot. Gives you something more to hold on to. And, guys, we need something to hold on to. It gives you better play experience. Anyway, so this is my initial thoughts after a good week of on the road playing this thing every night. When I get back to the room, and it's got some major pluses. It's got some minuses. I don't know. The battery life's been pretty good. Volume in the speakers are great. You still have the headphone option if you want to do that. Full-size HDMI is good. USB Type-C charging is definitely a plus. I don't have to worry about some weird connector. I can just take whatever I happen to have laying around for my iPhone and boom, plug it right in. And it charges and it's fine. So it's a good device. Jury's still out on do I recommend it at the price, because I think I'm going back and forth about this. I think the expandability, the expandability with absolutely no need for a weird custom firmware, a weird file system, nothing. To just be able to grab some ROMs, throw them on a random SD card you have laying in your shelf or in your drawer somewhere, and just throw it in there, and it just plays them. That's pretty cool. I got to admit, that's pretty awesome. So, more to come on this for sure. A legit review video coming soon. I think they have a firmware update coming out that's going to fix maybe a couple bugs. I haven't found a ton of bugs with this system. There's a kickstand. Forgot about that. Got to tell you about that. Yeah. Very cool. It's going to be really useful if you have this thing plugged into a TV and you're going to plug some controllers into it. But therein is maybe the biggest question, right? So you got this cool little handheld, and for $180, it does not come with a case or any kind of sleeve or anything. There was a bundle with BJ Wholesalers for, I think it was only $10 more. You could get this, and it was bundled with a case and a silicone sort of cover that I would never use because it covers up the cool colors of the Atari. But the case was a really good idea. But you have to be a member of that store, and that's a wholesaler in a certain part of the country and all that. So you can't just go to Amazon right now and buy a case for this, just a zipper case or any kind of sleeve. So that sucks for sure. I wouldn't just throw this into a bag, because when I got this thing, and My Arcade did send it to me for a review, there was no screen protector on this at all. It just showed up, and there you go. And was a scratch. It had like a cloth over it, but no screen protector at all. So you go throw this in your bag, because you have to, I mean, this is massive. You're not going to put this in your pocket. Throw it in a backpack or something. And if you got books or anything with like a hard edge, it's going to scratch the screen, I believe. Now, I haven't done a scratch test. I don't plan to do a scratch test, because that's the big announcement tonight, guys. I'm not going to scratch this thing up. I'm not going to torture test it at all, because once I'm done with this, I'm going to give it away to one of you. That's right. When I get stuff from companies to review, I review it, I put it through its paces, and most of the time, I give it away. And that's what I'm going to do for you. So once I get this thing out of my system, give it a week or two, and kind of have my fun with it, I'm going to give it away, but I'm not just going to give it away as it is. It's going to come in its original box, obviously. And the little SD card I got in there with those games, I think I'm going to leave them in there. I think that card may just have to stay. So you're going to get this thing loaded with some other cool games on it. Some CPS-1, CPS-2 games, other random arcade games, as a bonus gift to you, the fans that support me forever. So, yeah. So I gave away some Super Pockets. Evercade gave those to me. I was grateful. Checked them out. Gave them away. I'm going to do the same thing here. This is super cool, but I can't keep it. I got to give it away. So look for this to come up. We'll do a live stream giveaway. I'll do a lot of advertising before it goes out. Before that happens. Probably 2 weeks, I think. I want to make sure that the new update, I want to get the update downloaded on the device, make sure that it doesn't cause any bugs or problems. Give my full review. Give the thumbs up to My Arcade. Say thanks so much. But I'm going to give this to the community, because you are the ones that make all this possible and make all this happen. So, going to finish up this short video, guys. I appreciate you taking the time to watch me in this format. It's really kind of different, kind of new. I decided I need to do something on the road. Haven't talked to you at all in a week, and that sucks. And it really kind of bothers me when I don't get a chance to get online and say hi to everybody, especially those that need our help. And in this case, Steve Sale still needs a little bit of help, guys. So if you'll check out Little Alien, Jason has listed right there in the live stream in the comment section the GoFundMe. It's not too late to give a little bit more, guys. If you maybe have been on the fence, if you're not sure, Steve could use a little bit of help, guys. A little bit more help to kind of just make sure that the dental work is paid for, and not paid for in full. He's still got to shoulder a lot of the responsibility, guys. But if we could help him out just a little bit more, that would be really awesome, guys. And I think this community is pretty awesome and great, and you've given so much already. So I want to congratulate you for doing that, because that's pretty freaking awesome, guys. And I'm proud of you. So yeah, so pay attention to the channel. A couple weeks, we'll be giving this away to a lucky viewer. We'll do a live giveaway on the show. It'll be one of this week's shows, probably in a couple weeks, because this is fun, but it's more fun to pass it on and have somebody else enjoy the hell out of it. So let me know what you think about this in the comments section below. I'm going to go back and watch this live stream. I hope the audio was good. I tried to use one of my Rode mics. I didn't have the cable. Hope it was all right. I just want to say thank you so much for continuing to support the channel, guys. Thank you, Novasonic. I will have safe travels tomorrow. And I will see all of you right back here this Sunday for another episode of This Week. We'll talk about what happened this week. Good, the bad, whatever. Okay. See you next time, guys. If I can figure out how to shut this thing down. Oh,